What does it take to truly master something? Keep watching. This is Life Mastery Gym. I'm Damon Card, and I teach people just like you cutting-edge NLP processes and techniques so that you can master your life and take charge of your destiny. So if that sounds good, make sure you click that subscribe button right down here so you can get these videos on a regular basis. So what does it take to become an NLP master? Well, I've had several years of NLP training. I've practiced for several years. I had a mentor for whom I did an apprenticeship with, and I've done over 600 videos here on my YouTube channel about NLP. By the end of this video, you're going to learn not only what it takes to become an NLP master, but really to master anything. But before I get into that, I'm curious about you. What would you like to master? Do you want to master NLP? And if so, tell me a little bit about that. What is your reasoning behind it? What's driving you to want to master NLP? And if you don't want to master NLP, but you do want to master something, let me know in the comments down below what that is. I will respond to you. So the quick, very obvious answer to mastering anything is commitment. Now, you probably assumed that already. You see people who have mastered something, and you see what they do as a practice, or what they have done to practice to become a master, and you might have thought to yourself, that takes a lot of willpower, that takes a lot of discipline, and it takes a lot of commitment. What is commitment really? Well, commitment is what I would call an identity shift. When you decide this is what you're going to do, then there's something inside of you that has to shift around that, a certain change, a transformation. And then sometimes we say it, we give ourselves a commitment, or we commit to something, and then we don't follow through. Well, why is that? And the easy answer to that is, well, there wasn't that shift. There really wasn't that identity shift, that something changed inside of you, that you decided to take something on. How do you know when that happens? How do you know when you've made that identity shift? Well, I can give you the words, but I can't give you the feeling. The feeling, you'll know it when it happens. And the feeling, the best way that I could describe the feeling is as long as it takes. When you truly are committed to something, that should be the feeling, as long as it takes. How long will it take? You may want to know that, but you're in this, you're doing it. Your decision is, I will do this, I will master this, and I will work at it for as long as it takes. That's why people have such a hard time with true commitment. You may be saying though, well, Damon, I don't know for sure if I want to be an NLP master. I don't know for sure if I want to master piano or a second language or multiple languages, or I don't know if I want to give that kind of time commitment to something that down the line I might not enjoy anymore. And that's a really good thing to think about. You don't want to just jump into something and say, well, I'm committed to it for as long as it takes, and you end up spending your life miserable because you committed to something that doesn't really fulfill you. So how do you know what to master? That's really probably a better question than how to master. Start off by knowing first what to master. The journey to discovering that is probably, in some cases, even better than mastering something. That discovery of what is it that really does it for me? What is it that really fulfills me? What is it that I feel like I could do for the rest of my life? What is it that I could truly say that about, as long as it takes? So the kind of commitment that I'm talking about is really committing to yourself. And when you commit to yourself, what you're really saying is you're committing to your values. You're committing to fulfilling your values. Now, what does a life look like when you're committed to your values? It's a very, very fulfilling and satisfying life. So here's what I mean by this. Along the way of fulfilling your values, it takes taking action. It takes learning things. And in some cases, and probably most cases, it takes mastering at least one thing. But it's not that you have to master something to live a fulfilling life. It's more like, as you're on that journey of living a fulfilling life, fulfilling your values, mastery sort of happens. Mastery of your own life. So when it comes to commitment, I would say commit to yourself. When it comes to mastery, master your life. And more than likely, that what will come along with that is mastering individual things like NLP. You master NLP, mastering your life is a part of that. Mastering your life, well, a really good tool to use to do that, a really good methodology to use to do that is NLP. And that's how I got into this. And I never set out to be an NLP master. I got into it because I wanted a better life. The life I was living was miserable. I was in a business that I hated. I was in a marriage that made me miserable and that was failing. And I had fallen into depression. So all these things were going bad. And learning NLP was a way to help me come out of that. So I was really committing to myself. I was committing to living a happier life, living a fulfilling life, which also includes success. And that's why I learned NLP. And along the way of learning NLP and applying it in my own life to make my life better, I mastered NLP. And when I say mastered, I don't mean that I'm at the end of the journey, that I've arrived at some place. I don't see mastery that way. And I don't think most masters of anything see it that way. It's not like I'm done. It's not like I've learned everything. It's still a process of mastery, but it has become a part of me. So think about it like this. Let's put this all together. When you're on the track of mastering your life, what you're basically doing is you're eliciting your values on anything that interests you, that you're considering trying. So if there's something you want to master, like NLP, do a values elicitation around that. I've done several videos on values elicitations. So do a values elicitation around mastering NLP. Why do you want to do it? What is that about for you? What's important about it? What will it do for you? And then you'll have these values that will come out. And as long as you're acting in alignment with those values, you're always going to be motivated. You don't need willpower. You don't need discipline. And so you get on that track. Now, if at some point it's not doing it for you, and remember this applies to anything, not just NLP. If it's not doing it for you and you're not feeling fulfilled, I would say do another values elicitation. Take any resistance, elicit the positive intent, which is a value, and then keep eliciting from there higher and higher to find out what's really driving that resistance. And you might find at a certain point, whatever you're trying to master doesn't do it for you. And that's good information to know. That doesn't mean that you're not committed. That just means that you've reached your endpoint with whatever this activity was. Your true commitment is to yourself, to your values. Where do your values lead you now? What do you think will work? And again, that's not a place that you don't have to come from a place of being desperate and lost. This is a time when you're not sure what it is that you want to master because something else didn't do it for you. This is a wonderful time to go and explore, go and discover. And you can do this at any age. It's not like you have a time limit here. So the whole thing becomes about discovering and mastering. And it's on the backdrop of commitment to yourself and commitment to your values. And like I said, when you're committed to yourself, you're committed to living that fulfilling, rewarding life that you want to live, mastery is just part of the process. If you want to take this deeper and you want to identify an area of your life that you want to master, and if you would like to work with me in a small group of people, check the link down below in the description. Sometimes we're running free classes, and at the very least, we have an assessment that you can do that can help you get really clear about this. So like I said, check that link, see what we have for you down in the description. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and that you hit the bell so that you can get these videos on a regular basis. And last but not least, if you can think of a friend or a family member who you think would enjoy this video, make sure you share it with them. Take care.